In this video, I'm going to run you through exactly how I schedule my day using my voice, talking to ChatGPT, and have that information show up on my Google Calendar. I'm going to run you through a demo first. You can see firsthand very quickly how this system works. And then I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to build it out for yourself. So if you want the resources and the assets at the end to do this yourself, stick around to the end of the video and I'll be showing you how you can get those. Let's jump into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to ChatGPT. And I'm going to use my voice using a tool called voice and speech to text. I'll get that to you here in a second. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it my day. Hey, ChatGPT, today is 12/6/2024, and my work day is going to start at 12:30 p.m. It's going to end at 3:30 p.m. And the first thing I need to do for the next 45 minutes is to work on the tutorial. For the next hour, please slot in video editing and uploading to YouTube. And the rest of the time will be flex time for me for the rest of my day. Thank you. All right, so I just sent that information off to ChatGPT. This is going to run through and create the table for me, like an example you see up here. It's going to give me the activity. It's giving me the start and end times and the duration. What's really awesome about this is I can see at a glance how much time I have for like flex time. So that means it's like kind of unallocated. This is just a demo for you. It's going to give me the Google Sheet that I need to paste this information into and then go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this information. I'm going to copy this data. I'm going to go over to my Google Sheet right here. I'm going to paste that in. Awesome. Now, here's my calendar. It is empty. I'm going to go into this make scenario. I'm going to click on this awesome button right here, and it's going to run the automation. And then on my calendar, bam, there is my schedule. Super fast, super awesome. You can do this days in advance. This is a very powerful tool to schedule your day. Now I can literally follow on my calendar. I get alerts. I know if I'm on track. I get event reminders through my headphones. So I know if I'm on pace to get my things done. If I need to move them around or drag them to the next day, it's easy to do. Awesome. That's how it works in Make. And let's go ahead and jump into how do we build this out so we can have this for ourselves. The first thing I would recommend you do is go ahead and go over to voice and speech to text dictation. And I'll drop a link in the description below for you to get at this. And I want to go ahead and install this extension in Chrome. It's a very powerful tool. I use it all day, every day. And the analogy I like to use is, if you think about Tony Stark in the future from Iron Man, he is not using his fingers talking to AI, he is using his voice. This is a very rapid approach to working with ChatGPT and your computer system in general. So go ahead and grab that Chrome extension. So now that that's out of the way, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go and get set up inside of Make and Zapier. But before we do that, let me show you how the Zapier works. So with Make, in the Make.com scenario, you saw that I had to come in manually into the Make scenario, into the automation, and click this button. I don't have to do that. I could schedule this to run every 15 minutes, but that's a lot of utilization on my account all day to be running every 15 minutes. I don't want it to wait once a day because I want the information now. So the Make scenario is for those of us that are a little impatient. We want to see it on our calendar pretty much instantaneously. If you're doing it at the end of your day or time isn't like you're willing to wait up to 5 minutes to see that information show up on your Google Calendar, you can go into Zapier and do the same thing. So inside of our Zapier account, I got a Zapier sheet here. If I paste that information inside, it's the exact same information. Zapier is now running in the background. There's nothing else I need to do, and it is going to show up on this other calendar here in about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, it runs 3 actions at a time. It takes about 30 seconds for it to update each 3. So depending on how many events you have for your day, you can see like a 5 to 6 minute lag before it actually shows up on your calendar. We'll come back to this here in just a moment to show you this updated live on our calendar. So this is a separate calendar. So 2 ways for us to go about this. I want it now. I want to be impatient. I'm willing to do a couple little extra clicks, or I really don't want to wait and I'm just going to let Zapier do it. I'm willing to wait a couple 5 minutes for it to go through the system and show up on my calendar. Awesome. Good news is we can see that the Zapier automation is working. Our events have shown up on our calendar. I have two different calendars here. So this is calendar A that I did that is associated to my Make automation. And this is one set up on my Zapier automation. This one takes about 3 to 5 minutes for it to show up on the calendar, depending on how many events you got. This one is instant, but you got to go through and click. Let's jump in first to Zapier to show you how this is built on the back end. And then we're going to go ahead and reproduce that build so you can have it for yourself. So right inside of here, I have a Zapier automation set up. And don't worry, I'm going to run you through exactly how to create this here in just a moment. But I want to show you first what it looks like. So the first thing is we have a Google Sheets trigger event. As soon as a Google Sheets row is changed or added, and then within 2 minutes, that trigger will fire and the Google Calendar event will be created. If I click on the trigger event, here you can see that I have my set up. So I've connected to Google Sheets. When it's a newer updated spreadsheet row, that's what we're looking for. What is going to trigger this event? We have a newer updated spreadsheet row. What is the account? I'm going to run you through how to configure this in just a second. And the configuration. So we're going to look at the spreadsheet that we're using, what worksheet, etc., and then we test it. So we can find new records here and we can run a test. Now, in terms of configuring the calendar, we're going to then take this information from the Google Sheet. We're going to pass it to the calendar to create the event. What does that look like? We connect our calendar and then we configure it. And what we do is we map our fields from this information to the calendar to create the event. So you can see right here, so I have the summary. This is here's the summary time. Actually, let me go into V3. So this is the summary field, the start time, start date, end date, and we don't even have duration. This is more for our human eyeballs. We're not using it for the automation. So if I go back into Zapier, so here's the summary. So we're mapping to summary field. We're looking at the start date time, end date time. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. That's how this is configured. Let's go ahead and build it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And let's go into, I'm going to do this in a new tab so I can leave this open as reference as I need to. Awesome. So inside of my Zaps, I'm going to go ahead and click on Create Zaps. I'm assuming you know how to log into Zapier and create a free account. By the way, this is awesome because there are no premium actions or triggers happening here. So this is available to anyone, whether you have a paid or a free account in Zapier. Let's continue. This is the trigger action. So for this to be easy for us and to really make sense, we're going to want to make our Google Sheet template that we're going to be watching those events happening to. So I've created this Google template for you. I'll get you a link for that as well. Let's go ahead and make a copy here. So File, Make a Copy. We're going to go ahead and call this Zapier. Easy enough. Make a copy. This will be our Zapier actions. Fantastic. And inside of Zapier now, we have this account. So this is associated to my all the CRM Google account. And if I come into my trigger event, I'm going to click on trigger event. I'm going to click on Sheets. I'm going to search for Sheets, Google Sheets. And the event I'm looking for is new or updated spreadsheet row. It is instant. By instant, it's like 2 minutes. Cool. And then connect your account. So right here, you can choose to connect your new account. So if I connect a new account here, I could choose from all of the different I have, choose the account that your Google Sheet tied to. So in this case, this is my all the CRM account. Fantastic. So that is connected. I'm going to click on continue. Now I'm going to configure it. What is the spreadsheet I'm looking for? So inside here, this is the new clone. I should see that right away. So ChatGPT Zapier. So that is this title right here. And then for the worksheet now is what is down here. So it's just called sheet 1. We're going to leave that alone. Cool. Select sheet 1 that is required. Trigger column. So what column are we looking for to trigger this action? We're just going to leave it any. We're good. Let's go ahead and click on continue. And then for this new conversation in ChatGPT, make sure you are set to 4.0. Okay. And from here, you are simply going to drop in the prompt that I've created for you. The prompt is here. I will provide it for you as a Google, or you can just drop into ChatGPT. So this will be a file you can download, or you can copy and paste it in. Basically, I'm giving it context here, saying, hey, you're to assume the role of an administrative assistant. You're going to help me schedule my day. These are three to pay attention to. Here's an example. You're free to read this and look at this on your own, but I'm just going to go ahead and move forward on this step. Here's how easy this is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. I don't want to close it yet. I'm going to upload that text file or copy paste in the text, but I would just say, go ahead and upload the file. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay. Upload from computer. Make sure I grab the right one. I'm at V2. Awesome. Click on open. And at this point, I literally can just hit enter. Great. So now I'm saying, great. Let me know the date you start and end times, your time zone. This is important. More so for Zapier than it is for Make. Like to do in the link to our Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and do that. The Google Sheet we're looking for is this new Zapier one that we've created right here. So I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to give it this link. I'm going to hit Shift Enter, give myself a couple line breaks. That's how I like to roll. And let's go ahead and use our voice. So this is where it gets awesome. So I'm right clicking, choosing start dictation. Here we go. Awesome. Today is December 6th, 2024 time. And my workday is going to start at 1 p.m. It's going to go till 3:30 p.m. Give me 30 minutes to work on give me 1 hour to work on editing and uploading to YouTube, and give me the rest of the time as flex time. Thank you. Awesome. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and click on this send button. Now you're only going to have to give it your time zone once, unless you're running into issues and you need to change your time zone later. You can do that very easily. But really, this is programmed so that you only have to give it your Google Docs sheet once, and tell time zone once, and then you're good to go. From there on, you just tell it your day, you tell it what you're looking to do. You can move things around. So let's say you're talking and you say, actually, I want you to move that appointment to the beginning of my day, not the end of my day. Awesome. It knows that. It can really, this is an administrative assistant. Talk to it like it's a human, and it will fully understand what you're doing and what your goals are, and it will create your day for you. Awesome. So we have our schedule here. Now, if I go ahead and if I want to copy this information, and I go into the Google Sheet, this should be my Zapier Google Sheet. Fantastic. It's right there. Now, let's go into Zapier. It's the same one. Now that I have this set, I can actually configure and test my new data input, trigger the Google Calendar creation here in just a second. So let's go ahead and drop in that information right here. So we're in the correct sheet. We're in the Zapier one. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. Awesome. Next up, we're going to go to Zapier and map our fields. So come back into Zapier. I'm going to click on test trigger, and we should see 3 events show up right here. Awesome. So we have spreadsheet row A. So this is work on tutorial. You can see here, this is edit and upload to YouTube. And this now is going to be a flex. So if I check my sheet, so we have tutorial, YouTube, flex time. Perfect. Let's go ahead now and move on to creating the Google event. So on the action, I click on the action step. I'm going to search for Google Calendar. Very good. Now, this is the Google Calendar. For action event, we're going to choose create detailed event, and then we're going to pick our account. In this case, we're going to do my old CRM account right there. Awesome. So this is going to go to my old CRM account. Calendar on. Very good. Now that's your Google account. Now we want to choose what calendar inside of that account do you want to create. So you can have one account. So mine is David at all the CRM. I have multiple calendars in there. I have personal, I have optimized day, I have birthdays, whatever. So for the calendar here, I'm going to go ahead and choose on just my standard David all the CRM account. That's perfect. Summary. Now we're going to map to our Google Sheet from right here. This is going to be the title. So if I click on this plus button, we're going to now look at the summary right here. We're going to choose on summary. So we're mapping the field for the time. We're going to click on the button here. We're going to choose on the start date and time. On the end date and time, we're going to do the same thing, end date and time. Very good. And then from here, we're going to leave this all blank. You can configure this as you want to. If you want to change the color, you can do that here. Just leave this set. Click on continue. And if this works correctly, we're going to see an event start at 3 and end at 3:30 on our calendar. Let's see if that works. We're going to go ahead and click on the test step button here. It will tell us, awesome, that we sent a set to Google Calendar about 0 seconds ago. Let's make sure we check our calendar. Right here, we have 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Perfect. That is working exactly as wanted. So let me double check to make sure that's working correctly. So we said we wanted it to be from, it is, yep, 1:30 to 3:30, correct? 1:30 to 3:30, 1:30 to 2:30. Good. Now, another place I can check here is in Zapier. It says, okay, I actually found a bug. I had to pause and go tweak my prompt, and I'm going to run you through that here in just a second. And here's what happened. So this is good feedback. I'm glad this happened in real time. So what happened was right here, you can see that ChatGPT, because I told it mountain time, it made up the code for the time as mountain time. So on my calendar, it actually was off by an hour. It did not account for daylight savings. So this is actually off by an hour, and I'm glad I found it. So here's what I did. Inside of the prompt, I made a big change, not a big change. I made an adjustment, and we'll test this 2 more times to make sure it's rock solid. But right here, we said, if the user does not indicate their time zone, ask them what their time zone is, use the appropriate code for the time zone to output the date times. I just added that one little comment so that it doesn't just make up a code that doesn't actually exist. Then we said, make sure you use the correct ISO 8601 code for their time zone. Awesome. I just tried that again. So I updated my file. I came into ChatGPT. I then just copied this previous request rather than redoing it and re-speaking it. I just copied the request. Let's go ahead and run this again. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new conversation. And if this would upload that new doc and give it another try here, the new version. Awesome. Hit enter. Cool. From here now, let's go back and grab that here. Grab the, nope, this one right here. I'm going to copy this over. And then we're going to draw that. Perfect. Now, if this works, it's going to give it to me in a table format. And awesome. It's giving me the ISO. So it's giving me the my 7. So this is perfect. And now let's go ahead and run this again. So I'm going to copy this. Cool. I'm going to run back into my Zapier template. There's Zapier right here. Let's go ahead and drop that in right here. Cool. So that is in there. Notice the difference here. Notice the difference in the formatting. Go back into my Zapier flow. We're going to into the trigger action, and we're going to go ahead and click on test again, and we're going to find new records. Cool. Notice we got these 3 new records that just came in. let's go ahead and grab row F. This should be in the correct time, looking really good. I'm going to click on continue with selected record. Great. Click on continue. We got flex time. The time here is 30 to 3:30. Yep. So 14:30, that's 2:30 to 15:30, that's 3:30. Click on continue. We're going to retest the step here and notice that it is not in my calendar right here. So where it should show up is like, it should show up right here and then move that way. Let's go ahead and let's go run on this. Go ahead and retest step. Cool. And there it is. Perfecto. Awesome. So we're good to go on Zapier. I'm going to go ahead and start clean, and we're going to do a good final test. We're going to turn it on. We're going to make sure everything's working good, and then we're going to go ahead and build out our make scenario. So I'm going to just delete these. Delete, 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 delete. Fantastic. Let's go back into our Zap. Let's turn it on. Actually, let's give this a good name here. Geez Louise. So this is ChatGPT scheduler. Scheduler. Google Sheet to Google Calendar. Awesome. So I'm going to click on publish. Publishing. Good to go. This is now good to go. Now let's run another test. Give it a couple minutes and everything should update. So let's go ahead and a mock demo of our day, and I can show you how this thing can work in actual real time. So now that I've set this up, here's a cool thing that I would recommend you do. So go into your chat right here, to your chat thread. You can do a rename. Move my zoom out. Going to go to rename. We're going to do schedule icon. So I'm going to a whiskey and period, or I'm not sure what it is on a Mac, but I'm going to use the icons and do a bam. Leave it like that. Hope that's clear. Cool. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and run another day. Run another test. So right click, start dictation. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a rundown for tomorrow, Saturday, 7th, 2024. The day is going to start at 8 a.m. It's going to end at 4:30 p.m. And here's what I got. For the first 2 hours, we're going to do personal development. Minutes after that, we're going to do breakfast. 15 minutes per email. So I got to email Jim. I got to email John. I got to email Jane. And in fact, would you please put Jane first? I got to email Jane first. She's top priority. And then after that, please give me 1 hour to work on content. I need lunch for 30 minutes. And the rest of my day will be fulfillment, working on AI agent development. Thank you. Okay, so I hope you saw like how I moved things around. I said, hey, put Jane first, and it should do that. And I just said, hey, give me 15-minute chunks of these emails. It's got the correct date time going on here. Notice it gave Jane first. This is so awesome. Okay, let this finish running. Great. I love that it's giving me the duration. It's breaking everything in. Here's my Google Sheet. Everything is working magically. So I can just copy this right like so, Control C, open that Google Sheet. I'm going to drop it in. Now for Zapier, that's it. There's nothing else I need to do. The Zap is on. It is turned on. In about 5 minutes, all of those events should show up on my Saturday calendar. It is 1:23 p.m. Let's check back here in a couple minutes. Fantastic. It is 1:24 p.m. and you can see, bam, everything's in here. So from 8 a.m., let's go ahead and jump into how to replicate this in Make if you want it more. Now in Make, I have it set up to a different calendar here. So you can see that I have data that I've already done inside of here. I'm going to go ahead and remove these. All right. And let's go ahead and jump on into this. So inside of Make, here's what it looks like. So we have if I go inside of these, I have a Google Sheet. Navigate to the correct sheet. I'm going to pick the right one. Cool. I've got a limit that I set here, like how many records I wanted to process at once. And then from here, we're creating the Google event. It's going to be very similar in nature to what we did inside of Zapier, but let's go ahead and get started on this one now. For scenarios, you're going to log into make.com, click on scenarios, and then there will be a new scenario button up here. I'm not going to show you that because I have a bunch of different, I have client workflows in here. So there's going to be a big purple button, create new scenario, and you end up at this screen. From here, we're going to choose on Google Sheets to do a search for Google Sheets. Cool. Under Google Sheets, we're going to say to rows. Fantastic. And here, we're going to choose the correct account. So like you did in Zapier, you're going to click on add to connect your Google account. Search by path. You're going to choose on Drive, and then you're going to look for your so up here, we're going to have our template. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this template here. Make a copy. Cool. We're going to call this one Make. Awesome. Inside of this one, we are now going to go into our setup. We're going to choose ID. So from here, we're going to go into, give me a sec to find where this lives. Actually, let me show you how to do that. So inside of our make one, I want to go into this little button here and I want to see where is this guy living. So it's just living inside of, living inside of scheduling automations. I needed to find where this lives inside of my Google Drive. So you got to find the sheet, wherever that is. So my drive, cool. We're going to do scheduling. Actually, I could probably just look for this. Nope. I want to do scheduling, automation, and then I got to find the correct sheet. I can't see. Oh, I got lucky. Even for this, pick the right sheet. It's a little annoying that you can't see the whole file name. Pick the right file name, sheet name, just like we did before. So again, that is, you're going to choose on, make sure you choose the correct file name, correct sheet. That's if you have more than one sheet. That's very good. Table contains headers A through Z, limited to. So this limit, set this limit to 25. 20 is fine. Click OK. And then since specific ID, we're going to choose all. Awesome. And then we're going to click on OK. Choose all. Moving on to the next step, we're going to move on to our calendar. So choose for Google Calendar right here. We're going to create an event. Fantastic. Choose the account. Choose the, we're going to leave it in detail. Calendar ID is going to be what is the, I want it to write to. So I'm going to choose this one here. Event name, we're going to map to our summary here. Awesome. Start date, we're going to map to our start date. For our end date, we're going to map to our end date time. And I do believe that is all we need for this. And I'm going to click on OK. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and test this. To test this, I'm going to go into my Google or to my old output here. Control C. Boop. I'm going to go into my Google sheet. Where is it? Make. This is my make sheet. I'm going to drop that in. Fantastic. There they are. Now let's go ahead and run this in Make. I'm going to go ahead and click on run once. Here it is creating all my events. Fantastic. We are good to go. If I look at my calendar inside of all the CRM, here they all are right here inside of my oldest CRM account. Notice this is my oldest CRM account for Saturday. This is, oops, I deleted the old ones because I was cleaning up my stuff, but all of my old ones were set up here for assignments on that calendar. So That's how you set it up inside of Make. Now, here's a little trick I would suggest you do. Come back into your Make, give it a sheet here. So ChatGPT scheduler to Google Calendar. Cool. Then I'm going to copy this address. All right. So inside of the scenario address, I've copied that. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that now inside of my, this is not V3. I want to decide I'm going to make one. Too many windows, guys. Okay, here we go. So we're going to link to scenario. Awesome. And I'm going to paste that in. Awesome. There it is. Now, anytime I come into this, to my Make scenario that I can then run manually. Inside of your ChatGPT output, it'll give you the Google Sheet link. Once I've clicked on that sheet, I open it up, and inside of that will be the link to Make inside of here. And that's how you set that up. Let me fix this little typo here. Link to scenario. And that's how we do it. If you want the Make scenario to run on a schedule, you can do that. You can choose the timer right here. Click on this guy, and then you have at regular intervals. You can choose a time of day, whatever you'd like. You can choose when you want this to run. I don't choose this because when I'm using Make, I just go right into it. I click the button, boom, they're instant on my calendar. I'm probably going to be shifting away from Make into Zapier just because I'm okay reducing some clicks and waiting a few minutes for things to show up on my calendar. If you're impatient and you want to just see them on, use Make. Brad, thanks for hanging with me this long, and I hope you found this tutorial valuable. If you want the complete prompt for how to prompt ChatGPT as a file, if you want this Make scenario, so all you have to do is come down into Make, click on the menu option and click on Import Blueprint and pull this in. Then you just add in your own Google Sheet and your own Google Calendar. If you want to be able to download Zapier and the same deal configured to your accounts, drop a comment below with the word calendar. Give me some feedback on the video, and I'll reach out to you in a reply to tell you exactly how you can get access to this. If you found value in this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video as I'm just starting out here on YouTube. The more reach and likes I get, the more people I'm going to be able to serve. And I do intend to be serving on a regular weekly basis here. So stay tuned. I appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.